Okay, calling to order the Lunenburg Conservation Commission meeting of August 6th, 2025 at 7:03 p.m. We have no appointments tonight. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being audio, video recorded. The agenda lists all topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken from these discussions. Not all items may be discussed, and other items may be raised to the extent permitted by open meeting law. Please be advised that the town of Lunenburg utilizes Zoom platform as host for its hybrid and remote meetings. The Zoom platform utilizes AI technology known as AI Companion to create audio transcriptions of meetings to aid in the subsequent preparation of meeting minutes, and that AI Companion is activated immediately upon launching the Zoom application. You are hereby notified that this AI technology may capture audio prior to the start of the meeting and or following the conclusion of the meeting. And then there's the Zoom link. All right, so I'll start with a roll call. Mary Wilson.
Here.
Chris St. Germain.
Here.
Mike LaRouche.
Here.
Richard Bursch.
Rich was here.
And he's
Present.
here. Andrea Burnett.
Here.
And Teddy Doucette. All right, still not seeing him.
He's here.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there he is. Teddy Doucette.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. You could just say here.
Here.
Perfect, thank you. Okay. For announcements, do we have any announcements from members of the public? Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes and on a subject matter under the direct jurisdiction of the commission. Comments about current agenda items are to be made during the comment period of the specific agenda item. Please address all comments to the chair. Do we have any public comment? Does not look like it. Minutes were sent out for 1/22/25, 5/21/2025, 6/4/2025, 6/18/2025, and 7/2/2025. The minutes for 1/22/2025 were updated. So let's see, has everybody had a chance to look at these? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Would we want to go individually, or would we want to just do a motion to approve all?
Why don't we do them individually? Then there's no question.
Okay. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve the minutes for 1/22/2025.
So move. Second.
Okay, Mike with the motion, Chris with the second. Roll call. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Bursch,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett.
I was
Oh,
not at
you were-
that
That's
meeting.
right. So, and then I for myself. All right, 5/21/2025, looking for a motion to approve.
So moved. Mike.
And second.
Second.
All right, roll call. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Bursch. And I for myself. All right, 6/4/2025. Looking for a motion
So moved.
to
Mike?
approve. Motion to approve, Mike?
So moved. Yes.
Okay. And then the second from anyone?
Second.
Okay. So motion from Mike, second from Chris. Roll call vote, roll call, Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Bursch,
Aye.
and I for myself. 6/18/2025. Looking for a motion to approve.
So moved. Mike?
Second,
All right,
Mary.
motion from Mike and second from Mary. Roll call. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Birsch,
Aye.
and I for myself. And then 7/2/2025 for a motion to approve.
So moved.
All right. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, motion from Mike and second from Chris. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Birsch,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and Teddy Doucette.
Aye.
I for myself. Okay, so all minutes have been approved. So that's 5 down. So we're gonna do a quick just plug from the pollinator habitat. Then Mike's gonna just give a quick couple minutes on that.
Okay. Good evening. I just got my Habitat Happenings, which is the monthly newsletter that's put together by Christina, and she gets all of this information from all of her other volunteers and puts together a newsletter. And this month is, as you might realize, we're in the midst of summer, so big happenings at the habitat. There were 14 different kinds of butterflies spotted at our Lunenburg pollinator habitat. 4 different bumblebees were also sighted, as well as 3 different kinds of moths. Believe it or not, moths are very desirable in a habitat, and we have Shayna Mulatus, who's our moth volunteer person, and she has spotted 3 of them in our habitat, and a bunch of caterpillars, and which is amazing. Plus, we have another volunteer who is a photographer and has been taking photographs of all of these butterflies and different insects in the habitat. And her name is Jennifer Belt Bouquet. And I'm hoping that we'll have a chance to upload some of her pictures, and there they are.
Wow.
How impressive is that? So she's trimming with her trimmer as she sees a butterfly or a bug. She puts her trimmer down, takes the picture, and keeps working, which is, to me, a phenomenal.
Why is it playing music? Sorry about that.
Sorry.
It was unexpected. Keep going, Mike.
No, I'm just saying she's just an amazing volunteer, as many of the volunteers are. Pam and Carol, Christine, and Ginny, and I'm sure I'm missing some of the volunteers, but those are the ones who I tend to see when I show up and take a walk through and work on the lawnmowers and things of that sort. But as you can see, the lawnmowers looking good because of the pathways are mowed, which is, an amazing thing to do, so you can really appreciate all of the native flowers that are growing in our habitat. So I just want to make sure we do a shout out. And today, I thank you for uploading some of those pictures, just because they deserve a lot of credit for doing all the work they do and help to bring all of those pollinators in. So we have a beautiful habitat. So I'm always still looking for volunteers. I was told, anytime you have an opportunity to ask for a volunteer to help us out, even though it looks like how could we possibly need any more? But we do. Whether it's watering, whether it's weeding, there's always work that needs to get done. And so a shout out to them and to anyone who's interested in volunteering can certainly get in touch with any of us here on the commission, or if you just go out to the pollinator habitat, you'll probably run into a volunteer, and I'm sure they'd be glad to take your name and see what you'd like to do and help.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. And then pollinator habitat address is 250 Hollis Road?
123 Hollis Road.
223
easy.
Hollis Road.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you so much for that, Mike.
you're welcome.
All right, we're gonna move on to public hearings. So pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws, we have a public hearing on a request for amended order of conditions by Fitchburg Land Property Owner LLC for the reduction of scope and size of originally approved 367,000 square foot warehouse building to 183,500 square feet warehouse structure. And that is at 260 Falula Road. Do we have the applicant or applicant's representative on the meeting?
Bill Hannigan from Hannigan Engineering, representing the applicant.
Thank you. Would you like to tell us a little bit about?
Am I able to
is-
share my screen?
Absolutely, hold on.
Perfect. Sharing is not turned on.
There you go. Should be now.
Excellent. So this is the project that is, it's half in Fitchburg, half in Lunenburg. So we have permits from both sides that we're getting and updating. And what happened, this is the original plan that was approved, and I'll just kind of go through the sheets. This is Airport Road, Crawford Street, in Fitchburg and Leominster. And Lunenburg, the Lunenburg town line comes in right in here. Leominster, Lunenburg goes right there. Lunenburg, Fitchburg is here. So the original plan had work within the buffer zone, as well as work within the riverfront that was approved by this commission as well as the Fitchburg Commission. And what had happened was, so I'll go up through the plans. This is the second sheet, which shows us moving to the north. And this is the third sheet, which shows us moving even further to the north. And then you can see the size of the building. What happened was the area, when they started doing soil borings for structural review, this area right here had a lot of buried material, which was not conducive to structurally supporting the building. So what we've done is we've basically, and I'll go back, I'll just go to that sheet there. We basically eliminated the building in this whole area here. So it's significantly reduced in scope, okay, of the building. We've really just cut the building almost in half. And so there's nothing really, we're only purchasing, I believe, about to this line here now, where the client is only purchasing about to that line there. This is going to remain with Fitchburg Redevelopment Authority. And then the area, the building, as you can see, gets significantly smaller, a lot less parking, a lot less paving. We've redone the drainage calculations, have been modified to include the changes needed to reduce the scope of the required drainage. The scope of the work around the site has also changed. And then in the front, this is the new front, which doesn't really change that much, but the lanes of the driveway got a little bit narrower because we weren't obviously going to have as many trucks going through, etc. This area right here in the plans. So the plans were reviewed for on behalf of the town of Lunenburg's planning board, and Jeff Walsh from Graves Engineering did a review on the project, including stormwater review for both Fitchburg and Fitchburg and Lunenburg. And he pointed out in his review this area here was a little concerned about. I'll zoom in to that. So this is the only area where we're making a change. And this was about a 1.5 to 1 slope. And he was concerned about that relative to, erosion potential. So what we did was we provided this sketch, which shows this as at a 2 to 1 slope, which he agreed with. And this change was also reviewed by the planning board, and the planning board approved the changes to the plans based upon this being incorporated to the final plans prior to construction. So we're asking the commission to approve the modified plans with this grading adjustment plan that was prepared for the meeting with the planning board. So overall, the scope of the project was significantly reduced. It's very rare that you come in with a project and say, we're not going to do as much. But this is one of those ones, but it was on-site conditions that kind of drove it. And I think these two pictures here kind of show the scope and scale of how the building is shrinking. And if you go to this one here, you can kind of see that it's significant. So what we're here to do tonight is basically just update the plans of record for the order of conditions to be changed from the plans that were referenced in the original order to these plans here under a modification request. Some changes in this area here were basically that a lot of the site actually got lowered by a couple of feet. So there's actually less fill material in the areas depending upon where you are on the site. So that was a benefit. But all in all, the overall site layout from essentially this line down really has not changed significantly. It's just a matter of basically making sure that the plans that are on record with the commission, with the planning board of both Lunenburg and Fitchburg are consistent with the plans that are going out for construction.
Thank you very much. Is that everything you have to say for now?
Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward, but we have to make the presentation.
So Mary has her hand raised, but
Yes, Madam Chair, I didn't see in the agenda, the NOI. Bill, do you have the NOI that this was originally approved under?
That was the order of conditions, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, it would be in the letter that we submitted. I don't have that up on my screen, but that's why we're asking for an amendment, because it's an order that's already been reviewed. So we did not file a new notice of intent.
Yeah. I was just looking for the reference material. I didn't see it. Well, I'll go back into OpenGov and look again. I wanted to see what had originally been approved.
What I showed, this is what originally was approved,
So-
Mary, this plan,
Mhm.
plus this sheet and this sheet was what was approved by the Conservation Commission. What we're asking for is to amend the approval to basically reduce the building and the parking to eliminate this whole construction area up here on the north side. Okay, that's essentially the request.
Yeah, and
So
I understand
I-
that. I was just looking for the official, original official plans that had been approved.
Like I
if
said,
you,
these are the plans.
Mary.
I have the approved
Um,
version up on the screen as well as the proposed version.
I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so it's under the 260, I'm assuming this is it. I wasn't here for the original approval. But this is before we were using like a true workflow. There
Right.
is a notice of intent under the 1283 to October 6th, 2022. Seem right for the date? And then we have,
Nope. You went by the site plans.
I'm seeing. Well, so there's the site plan, and then there is DEP comments, and then the WPA Form 3, but I don't see the actual order of conditions under here.
I think the order of conditions is actually in the, I saw the order of conditions in OpenGov. I just didn't, I don't know why. I do see the original approved ones in the OpenGov now. I just overlooked it. Apologies.
Okay. Now, okay, are there any other questions from members of the Conservation Commission? Oh, Richard raised his hand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bill, is there any change to the amount of disturbance in the riverfront?
Yes, it's significantly
Okay.
reduced. Um, let me pull the letter up.
Okay. Yeah, because unfortunately, I mean, it's great that the whole project has gotten smaller, but we're kind of concerned with the riverfront in particular. So if you could just go over the changes to the riverfront, that would be great. And so the building can't move any further away from the riverfront due to the structural stability of the soils?
Yeah, basically what was approved, we kept everything south of that line the same, made some grading adjustments because we were able to lower the site because part of the aspect of stretching a building that long of a distance is you try to balance the site relative to cut fill. So balancing it over a longer distance had everything at a higher elevation, eliminating that area in the back and dropping things down to balance the cut and fills. We were able to drop the site by, I think Chris said about 2.5 feet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, just let me know when you find the letter on the riverfront intrusion.
Do we have any other questions while we wait for that from members of the commission?
So these are the numbers. So this is the updated table. I don't have a comparison unless I found the previous letter. Um, let me try to find the previous letter actually. Hold on a second, because that might answer the question. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how I can do this best. I'm trying to string one to one side and one to the other, but it's not working for me. So this is, I'm going to do this for a second.
If you did try to control in, you might be able to just map it in two side-by-side windows.
Look at you being all techie.
It's unfortunately a side effect of my day job.
Nope.
No, won't do it.
So at the top right of your document, I can't see it on your screen for some reason. But you have you have like the dash and then the X, and in between that, there's a
Yeah,
little double
there you go.
window.
Yeah.
So if you click on that, it'll pop up a little window that it'll if you hover over it, it actually gives you an option to put them side by side. Now if you, yeah.
Yeah, you're making me be techie. All right. So this is the 2022 version. And just to confirm, I'm going to go to the front page of this one. And it's the 2025 version. Okay. So trying to move things around too so I can see. All right, so I believe all the numbers, existing conditions stay the same. Proposed conditions, undisturbed area, previously degraded. Those stay the same from 100 to 200, and then from total, I guess. It looks like that part, undisturbed areas stay the same. Undisturbed impact areas, I'm not sure exactly how he did this. It looks to me like the number went down by 100 square feet. And it looks like under disturbed impact, permanent disturbance went down by about no, it looks the same number. So I'm not sure what's different in here. So, and I think that might be the point, if maybe there is no difference. Updated per revised scope. So apparently most of the work that was, which makes sense, most of the work that was eliminated was outside of the riverfront area itself. Which goes back to the everything from that line down being the same. Make sense?
Yep.
Richard?
Yep, yeah, I just wanted to verify that there was no
Increase.
no increase in riverfront disturbance.
Okay. Do we have any other questions from members of the commission? Do we have any comments from members of the public? Okay. All
So
right, so
I think that this is the only document, because it was more recently created, that you may not have in open.gov. But what I can do is I can email this in just so that this becomes part of the record as well, if that's acceptable.
yes, please do.
Yep.
Or you could,
I just want to go on
upload
on
it.
the record that you have seen the document and that you understand it, and that prior to construction, we'll make this change on the plans for the construction documents.
Mhm. Okay. I'm just checking up and go.
I may have sent it in to Herlin when I copied it to the planning board, but I just don't recall. So if I'll send it into her, just to make sure.
And then I mean, you're able to upload directly into OpenGov too, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm on this clip, but I can see if I am. If I am, I'll just directly upload it. I'm not
Okay.
sure if I'm a user on this particular project. I think Chris might be the main user, but I might be listed.
Okay, it does look like Chris Anderson is the
Yeah.
person uploading everything. Okay, we no more questions. Right, so I think that I'd be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved, Mike?
I would be willing to make a second if Mike would be willing to amend his approval to include the condition that that extra documentation is
Oh, yeah.
uploaded.
Yes, good catch, Mary, thank you.
Absolutely, right.
Okay, second.
Okay, roll call, Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris Saint Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Bursch,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and Teddy Doucette.
Aye.
And I for myself, for a motion to approve with the condition that the document be either sent in or uploaded, showing the grading changes. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
You too. Okay, up next, we have pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40 and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. A public hearing on a notice of intent by Priscilla Deschamps for the construction of an 1,800 square foot addition to an existing structure and associated site work. Work will also include the expansion of the existing septic system on site and associated grading at 499 Northfield Road. Do we have the applicant or the applicant's representative? I know we did earlier. This is
They're
the
still there.
filter for
Madam
cats.
Chair.
Yep, I see them. Let me ask them to unmute.
Oh, okay.
Hello,
We're here.
hi. So will you be speaking on behalf of the project, or will there be somebody else representing you?
We're both here, my husband and myself.
No,
Matt-
Jason
Madam
Leclerc,
Chair,
I
can you
think
hear
is
me?
on.
Jason,
Justin Leclerc?
yeah,
Yes.
Okay. Yep,
Um,
I see you.
So just for the record, Justin Leclerc, McCarty Engineering, here tonight on behalf of the Deschamps for the proposed addition at 499 Northfield. If you want, I can share my screen and
Yep, please do.
let's
You do have permission.
see. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay. So just to orient everyone, this is the Pat Brody shelter. So Northfield Road is located here, plan top of the page. The existing house that you can see from the road and the driveway is located here. The back building here is where the current shelter operates out of, is here on the plan. So we're just looking to zoom in a little bit here. So we're looking to construct an 1,800 square foot addition, which is shown here, as well as a screened in porch, which is the outer dash line here. There is a basement to this building, so we are proposing retaining walls here and here. And along the edge of the building to help infiltrate some of the rooftop runoff, we are proposing an infiltration drip edge. So here's the side of the building. It's really just some stone with a Marafi fabric and then stone underneath. In addition to this, as part of the ongoing process, we did submit to ZBA. We received that approval. We submitted to the planning board. I believe we're in front of them in the coming weeks for site plan review for the proposed addition. And then we do have to go in front of the Board of Health, excuse me. As part of the addition, we went back and forth on Title V flows and what would be required for the existing septic system, which is shown here. These are the two existing tanks and then the D box here. So what we came up with is the Board of Health is going to allow us to maintain the existing septic system, but just expand the system to account for the Title V flows of the proposed addition. So that's what you see here. This is the proposed expansion with the additional lines in the septic system. This will be coordinated with Board of Health. The Board of Health agent for Lunenburg would be on site to inspect the soils, groundwater, and we'll finalize that design with that. We originally did have it on this side, but we had Three Oaks Environmental go back out and verify the original delineation that we had done on the adjacent property here. And in addition, she did put an additional delineation as shown here. Based on her report, she believes that it was a former detention basin, but we couldn't find any record of it. So for the purpose of this filing, we assume that it is an actual wetland system. So as you can see, all our work is proposed outside the 50 for the structure. We did put the expansion as far away from the system as possible. The closest that we're working is approximately 32 feet from the wetland, which is just to tie off the, excuse me, the proposed grading here. So I think with that, that's a quick rundown of what we're proposing, I'd be happy to take any questions or comments from the commission.
I know the commission went out on a site walk this weekend. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share from the site walk? I was not able to be there. Or does anyone in the commission? Oh, Mary's raising her hands.
Yes, Madam Chair. I did have the opportunity to go out there this weekend. One thing that I'll note, and it seems consistent with this delineation firm, is the flagging is never blue like we expect, which is, it's okay, it's manageable, but it would be nice if it was consistent with what everybody else is doing, which seems to be an industry best practice. And none of the flags were marked or numbered, which problematic and also seems to be consistent with this delineation firm. We didn't see all of them, so I don't know, if they just have been overgrown or what's going on. They weren't staked out, so it was hard to find them. That being said, what's shown on the drawing does seem to be, a natural depression area and seems to be well away from the, proposed construction work. So that's my kind of general observations. Where they're doing the septic work, I actually don't see, unless I'm, erosion controls, and I would expect to see that, which is an independent comment from the sidewalk comment that you had asked about.
Yep, and that is a good catch. I don't see erosion controls near
Madam Chair,
the
may I-
septic work.
May I just point out?
Yep,
Please.
please.
So it does get, I know on the PDF, it does get blurred out a little bit. So with the proposed expansion here, this is a mound that goes this way, and this way. We do have proposed erosion control along the edge here. We would be relocating the existing fence that comes down and over to come around to account for the grading. That was a comment, and that was the only comment received by us from DEP was regarding the erosion control. If the commission feels that it should be extended, we can extend it further. But with the limit of work here and this being the high point of the system, as well as the grades on site, the water from here and where we're doing the work would flow this way. It wouldn't flow back over the system to the wetland. The wetland delineation was done by Three Oaks Environmental. It was located by Topper Land Survey in April of this year. I know with the turnover that has been going on in the town, this is the first time that the commission's seen this plan, though it was submitted previously. And again, it was delineated back in April. So I'm not surprised that between the months that some of the flagging might have worn off, some of it might have gotten blown off, a little bit of it might have overgrown. But the delineation that you do see here, starting at WF1 all the way to WF12, is what was delineated and located by both our consultant and our surveyor.
Madam Chair, I for one would like to, because there is, between the high point in the center of the drawing and the other high point that's on the kind of more to the right, there is kind of a valley area. And so if during the construction there's any material, or rain or whatnot, I would be worried that we'd have erosion and siltation running down that mound and into that valley and then towards the wetland. So I would like to see the erosion control barrier extended or wrapped back up the hill, right, to form of, yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, it
Perfect.
should have closed on itself, but you get the point that I was trying to make, right? To come down and kind of come back up the hill a little bit there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's not going to run over the hill, but then running down the hill and into that little valley would be the thing I would be concerned about.
Yeah. So ignore where it closed off, but this point, and then kind of tie it back in somewhere here just beyond the edge of the existing system.
Yeah, that would
Okay.
be relieve my concern. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that is more than an easy enough change for us to put on the plan.
And then, Mary, one of your concerns with the flags was that they weren't numbered.
Nope, they weren't numbered. The
Oh.
ones that we saw out there, the 3 that we found, didn't have any markings on them at all. Like none, not even like permanent. You know, a lot of times permanent marker, parts of it kind of wash off, but you can see at one point it was marked. We didn't see anything on them at all.
And then out of the expected 12, there were only 3 that were found. Oh, sorry, expected more than 12 because we also have a D series here. Looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
And only
It-
3 were
It's
found.
really overgrown, and so we didn't go all rambling around, right? But we found what I think was probably 10, and we found what I think was probably 7 and probably 6, but they weren't marked, so there's no way for me to know.
Thank you for noting that. Do you have any other questions from members of the commission? Do we have any? Oh, Richard Bush.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hey, Mary, I didn't get a chance to go out on site, but in looking at it, we have the series from April 2025, but they don't connect with the D series from previously. So we have like an open blob, and then we have a pointed D27 on the
Yeah, that makes no
lower
sense to me.
wetlands. So
The
does the engineer have any
topographical,
idea how this is one system? Or how we get them into one system?
So they should connect pretty much here back into the system. You can see based on the grading that the 531 contours here. So everything comes down, it swales, and then you have a 531 here, and you have a 530 contour here. So everything would tie in pretty much here to 27, and then you would extend one out to here. So if some of the commission members, Richard, I think you were on the commission when we came in front of you for Holman Street for, I believe it was 7 lots. This was part of that development outside the property line here. So that's why you have the March of 19 delineation shown here,
Mhm.
which at the time was correct where this was off property. It wasn't delineated at that time. So again, when I had Three Oaks come out and verify this delineation line, they had being able to walk this side of the property, they were able to notice that, yes, this, again, may or may not have been a detention basin at some time, but has been so overgrown and with no record of it being permitted or constructed or anything like that, we have to assume that it is an extension of the wetland system.
Okay, so you're using the D series as a delineation from 6 years ago? So that was not delineated by Three Oaks?
It was delineated by Three Oaks back in 19. It was recertified in April when they came out and did this delineation. Again, they checked, they had this plan, they verified that, yep, that original flagging is still valid for the limit of the wetland system.
And Mary, when you were on the sidewalks, did you see anything from the D series there?
no,
wouldn't know
it
maybe
was really
because-
overgrown back in there. And I, I just as one vote on the commission, I just think it's sloppy work that this isn't interconnected, right? And again, from my perspective, looking at the drawing and the proposed work, everything is well away from where the wetland is. But I I saw a different type of project come in front of me with this type of work, this would be a really big bone of contention, and I would probably be not willing to proceed with it. But this one, as it is with a scope of work so far away from the wetland and where I observed the depression being, I don't see it as an obstacle for me today.
Thank you for that. Mike, I saw that you had your hand up.
Yes, Madam Chair, I just wanted to concur with Mary. I feel very much, I saw the same thing she was seeing, the very few flags, a different color. The vegetation was 4 feet high. The bees were loving all the flowers, but, we just couldn't go any further than we did to make any more verifications. But as I said, I concur with Mary and how she's feeling about some of the flagging that we've seen and or didn't see.
Overgrown.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions from members of the commission? Or comments?
It's taken so long.
Richard?
Yeah, was the wetland report submitted with their application?
I believe it was. Let me take a look.
Oh, I did find it. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
okay.
buried down in it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other comments from members of the commission? Do we have any comments from members of the public? Does not. Yeah, and then we also, okay. So I think I'd be looking for a motion to approve with the condition that we extend the erosion control barrier to wrap around the septic site. Have a motion or any comments on?
Madam
Anything else?
Chair,
Yes,
Commissioner Birch said he was gonna review the delineation report, so I thought I was gonna withhold making any further comment until he had a chance to look at that.
yes. Richard, you have your hand up. Is that what you were gonna say?
Yeah, Madam Chair, we're certifying this wetland for a period of time moving forward. I personally would feel better if they got it cleaned up and got it properly displayed on the submitted plan that we're going to approve.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have, other commissioners who would agree with that and feel that way?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Birch is correct. If we approve the plan as it's currently presented, those that delineation where we don't know if it's two isolated wetlands or how they connect, right? Is not properly shown on the plan, it becomes the record for 3 years.
So with that said, we'd be looking to have this redelineated and then come back? Or have it redelineated? I think they would have to come back if they're redelineating. And we'd have to look at it again as a commission.
That would be my feeling, Madam Chair, is to have it delineated properly and depicted properly on the submitted plan.
Madam Chair,
So-
may I ask a question?
Yes,
So in regards to the connection, it's between extending the line from WF1 to the D series and connecting the WF12 flag to the D series. It's adding 2 lines to the plan. Again, I understand the issues that have been going on, but this was delineated, located in April when vegetation was sparse, when it wasn't overgrown. And it was located shortly after it was delineated. So the flags were there, they were located. Again, I understand the issue, but this was back in April. We are now in August, and this was missed once. It was not put on the agenda for the last meeting, and it's been in limbo and held up. So I'm asking the question on behalf of my clients. It's my job to do this. And if you want to condition it that the lines be connected, that's, again, that is a 2-second exercise for me to connect the lines. But I don't want to see this continued and push off my clients again for another month over something that can be simply verified and fixed.
So, it's, I mean, it's not up to me alone whether.
And I
how
do
this-
understand that. I just, like I said, I want to make that point clear. And that's all.
So, I think Richard, you're feeling that you would definitely like to have this fully redelineated correctly.
Well,
And
again,
then-
I'm one member, but if you're gonna submit a report and a plan to the Conservation Commission, who is in charge of approving projects around a wetland, and you submit a plan that doesn't depict the wetlands properly, it kind of leads that you need to fix it and submit it properly before we can approve it. And again, I'm just one member, but you know, and it is in place for 3 years after we approve it, so.
I appreciate your comment, Richard. Mary,
Again, it does seem like historically we have more problems with this delineation firm than others that contract with a lot of the engineering firms around. But one thing that I'll note to Justin's comments, right? So I'm less concerned about the vegetation growing up. I mean, it's in the wetland. It's not supposed to be mowed back, and I understand and I appreciate that. But the flags that I find, I do expect to be marked. And then the other thing that's a bit baffling on this drawing is that the elevation lines don't match the wetland delineation. That's the engineer's responsibility to kind of look at that and go, hey, does this make sense? Does it pass the sniff test? Does it not? The wetlands not actually, the wetland delineation not connecting to each other. That's, on the engineer's responsibility to look at that and go, oh yeah, hey, right? That should be cleaned up. So, I mean, I agree with all of Rich's sentiments here. This particular project, though, is well away from it, and I'm less concerned about it. But if another one came in front of me, I would probably be real entrenched right beside Rich on this.
thank you. Other members of the commission, are there any comments, or what are your thoughts on this? Is there anyone who knows that they would prefer to see it redelineated and come back, or do they share Mary's sentiments? Chris.
I'm leaning to approve, based on the fact that, just putting, logic to it, just being common sense, I should say. I agree that it's not perfect, but, they have been waiting. It is a minor change. I also agree that we'd have to keep an eye out for future delineations from this company, and, let them know that, they're really not making, reaching the bar in terms of quality of work.
Have anyone else who wants to make a comment on how they're feeling about this?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mike.
You know, if that change that my colleague Rich and Mary have suggested, and we continue, we could actually put this at the next meeting on the 20th, so that would be less than a month. In my opinion, is that too much to ask?
I think I can't speak for the engineer, but if we're asking for a redelineation, they would have to get the firm out there to redelineate and have that all submitted before they came back. So I don't know if 2 weeks would even be enough time for that.
I don't think it'd be able to get the delineation as well as the updated survey back in time based on their ongoing schedules. But the other thing I'd like to note is where the delineation is shown, you do have the very bottom of basin, and who knows how long that thing's been there. So the wetland would grow up the slope as shown. So it really does follow the shape. And to connect the line here would actually pull in this line in the buffer. So it actually pull your buffers further down. Essentially, we took this line, offset it, and took the D series line, offset it, and drew a straight line between them. So at least on this side, our buffer zone's conservative to where the line should connect back from WF12 to the D series.
Okay, Mary, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I just have to say that, you know, when you're looking at a drawing, right, and you see a bunch of dots, it's easy to just say, oh yeah, let's just connect those dots, right? But the point of the drawing is it's supposed to match the field conditions. And since the drawing in front of us doesn't, because it is not closed, I would be skeptical of anything that was proposed to just, oh, I'll just reconnect them to come before us before the field conditions were revalidated. And I, again, you know, the more we talk about it, the worse it sounds.
Right.
I'll just draw some lines. It doesn't sound like engineering work, right? So I'm trying to stick to my guns about not wanting to get in the way of this one because I don't think that it's material, and I don't think this particular project is at risk for doing additional work, you know, within the 3 years that the wetlands would, you know, this wetland delineation would be valid. But the more we talk about it, the more I'm starting to get red flags in my head about like what really is going on here.
Agree. I was thinking the same thing as that was being described is, I mean, really you should, the conditions are the conditions. It's not, I move the line based on this line. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Do we have any other comments from members of the commission?
I'm
I'm
Madam
really torn
Chair?
on this one. Yes.
May I ask a question through you to Rich, if he found the delineation report and if he saw anything that was other red flags in that?
No, it was just incredibly brief. I mean, she makes note of the old D series, but doesn't reference them or connect them in any way. Just started with flag 1 and went to flag 12.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you,
So,
Rich.
but and
Thank you,
no
Madam Chair.
explanation on how they connect.
That sounds consistent with what we've seen from that firm.
It does. So, like to take a quick poll from members of the commission, what they're thinking. If they'd like to have this redelineated and continue to a later date, or if they would be comfortable approving this based on the scope of work and where it is in compared to the edge of the wetland. So Christine Germain.
Based on the input I've received from Mary and other fellow commissioners, I'm leaning to approve.
Okay. And then Mike LaRouche.
Yeah, as my colleagues, Mary and Rich, seem to think is the more we discuss it, the more issues seems to come up. So I guess I'm less likely to approve until we get a better plan than to, in order to go forward.
Mary.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna call on me next. Gosh darn it.
I feel how torn you are.
I am really torn about this because I'm an engineer. I don't like sloppy engineering work. But again, look at the scope of work and understand a lot about the shelter and what they do. And I will point out this is no-kill shelter in town, but they're not, and they're a nonprofit, so they're not growing in great leaps and bounds, right? This project they're doing is a huge project for them. So I don't feel like it's likely that they're going to come back and be encroaching further in in this wetland system within 3 years' time. So I think I would still approve based on what I've seen and my understanding of the charity work that they do there, right, and their limits on funding, and with the stipulation that erosion control barrier around the septic system extension be further wrapped around as we discussed earlier. So that was a yes, a long-winded yes. I would approve it.
Yeah. Rich.
At this stage, I would probably be a no.
Thank you. And Teddy.
Yeah, so I'm taking into consideration all my fellow commissioners' input as I am a newer commissioner and less experienced. And I think at this point, based on what I've heard, I'm going to be a no, just to be on the conservative side.
Thank you. And Andrea?
This is kind of a tough one for me. Listening to various opinions and, especially the more experienced members of the commission. But I think I'm leaning toward approve.
Okay, so I share all of the same concerns as Rich and Mary. I'm taking into consideration a lot of, especially what Mary has said, this is, she was out there, she observed the wetlands. It seems to be, far away from where the scope of work is. And so I think that I would probably be a yay. So I think that we could look for a motion to approve with the erosion control barrier extended to wrap around the septic site. But I also do want to say that this has been a problem in the past with this firm, and I would really like to see if in the future, when you're coming before us with delineations, that the flags stay marked. I say that they were marked back in April, but most flags that I look at that are older still have at least some markings on them. I wasn't out there to see these ones, but it'd be you know, if we're going out, I know that there has been some holdup in this one, but if we're going out, at least be able to somewhat see what the flags are and have at least a mark on them, maybe a number or something. So, okay.
Understood, Madam Chair.
So that said, like I said, I think I'd be looking for a motion to approve
So
with
moved.
the,
Second,
right, roll call vote. Mary,
And I'll clarify with the stipulation of the extension of the erosion control limit of work by the septic system, as you stated earlier, Madam Chair. So I vote aye.
Chris,
aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Nick LaRouche,
No.
Richard Bursch,
Nope.
Teddy Doucette,
No.
and an aye for myself. So that's approved. And I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much and have a good evening, and I'll get that plan revised right away.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, have a good night. Okay, so we're going to be moving on to continued public hearings. Up next, we have pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40 in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. A public hearing on a request for determination of applicability by Melissa Canavino for the renovation of a patio, stairs, and walkway within the 50-foot buffer zone of Hickory Hills Lake.
Jenny, can you mute Pat?
I
Brody?
just
There you go.
did. And this is for 67 Island Road. This is RDA 24-9. Do we have the applicant or their representative?
Yep,
on
Madam
the
Chair,
meeting?
Ryan Proctor with Dillis and Roy, representing the owner and applicant.
Let me give you the ability to share. Oh, I already did.
Oh, excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Like to
All
share your
right.
screen and share the project with us or
Gladly.
reshare?
All right, thank you. So just as a reminder, this project is for an after-the-fact filing of some work that was done within the 50-foot no build zone of Hickory Hills Lake and within the 30-foot no disturb zone. It involved the construction of a deck, a paver walkway, and a short retaining wall, primarily within the 30-foot no disturb zone. At the last meeting, your second meeting of July, I presented a plan that the owners and I had discussed and reviewed to partially remove some of that walkway and then provide three collectively significant areas of landscape remediation within the 30-foot no disturb zone. The commission had asked us to take another look at the plan and perhaps find some ways to remove some additional of the improved areas of that walkway. So I did submit a revised plan. Originally, at the last hearing, we had presented an area of removal that was limited essentially to this corner of the retaining wall and walkway. After speaking with the owners, they are proposing to remove the entire portion of walkway that it runs parallel with the house and the lake. And I'll just get a quick picture of this for clarity. And this is in the letter that I submitted to your commission, but basically this entire stretch of walkway would be removed, and we're proposing to restore that with loam and seed, which would restore it to its previously existing condition, as this was all lawn before. A portion of the retaining wall we are proposing to leave there strictly for the stabilization of the slope and to keep that level area where the owners can still access the constructed deck from the remaining portion of walkway and then across that level grass area. I think the owners had mentioned it a couple meetings ago, but there is no access to this deck through the house. It's external only through these stairs that were constructed. So that portion of the retaining wall would simply define that slope and hold back that grass that we would be restoring that walkway with. Similar to the previous application, we still have the landscape mitigation So again, we are proposing to reclaim a little over 100 square feet of what has been beach area with some native plantings, obligate species along the shoreline. We still have the landscape area between what will remain of that retaining wall, and then again, this grass strip. We still have that landscape area that is 120 square feet. And then we have a third area that is about 100 square feet along the existing tree line for a total of 322 square feet of landscaping. So after we remove, or we're proposing to remove this walkway, the remaining infrastructure, which I'm calling the retaining wall, remaining walkway and deck that is within the 30-foot, which is just this area here, is 117 square feet of the retaining wall and deck. So the landscape ratio of landscaping to the hardscape is a 2.75 to 1 ratio of replication and restoration within the 30-foot no disturb zone. The previous presentation at the last meeting, it was under 2. It was, I believe, 1.8 or so. So that ratio has gone up significantly since the last meeting. That is where we're at today. Again, I submitted those plans earlier this week. If there are any questions relative to that, I'd be happy to take them.
Do we have any questions from members of the commission? Mary? Oh, wait, are you there, Mary?
I was talking into mute.
Oh,
A
okay.
lot.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So I'm pleased to see the revised plan and to see that the owners have taken on board the concerns that the commission has had, and then I'm also pleased to see that the more vegetation has been added as well. I don't. The only other comment that I would add is that these drawings got received really late. With in consideration with our schedule, right? So it didn't give the commission a long time to review them. And I would recommend, as a sidebar, that the commission consider drawing a line on Friday submission for plans for the next Conservation Commission meeting. But I mean, that's something for another day or later on down in the menu dialogue. But I am pleased with what I've seen here today.
Thank you. I do think we put up on the site, I believe that there is an outline now of when things are expected by, but we don't have to.
I know we have a schedule for new applications, but I don't know if we have on there. I can go check real quick for updated plans and whatnot that are coming back to a continued meeting.
Yeah, you're right. I think it is.
I apologize for that too. The late submission is of no fault of the applicants. It's the busy engineer. So I do apologize. I do try to get them to your commission earlier, but it couldn't happen. I apologize.
Yeah, and that's Ryan, you do good work, right? And we've seen that time and time again, and stuff happens. We just want to make certain that we have clear expectations out to the field, so that we're set up for success in reviewing the projects. But this one's relatively straightforward.
Thank you, Mary. And also, yeah, Ryan, you typically always get things in well before they need to be. Okay, do we have any other comments or questions from members of the commission? Richard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Ryan, for updating the plan and removing the walkway, as we had discussed at the last meeting, coming up with some more ideas. I'm happy with what I see. I would recommend that we get a timeline for the installation of the plant material and the removal of the walkway, and that we request a 1 and a 2 year update just to ensure the survival of the plant material from the engineer. Those would be my only 2 comments.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Richard. So that was a timeline of the removal of the walkway. And then
Ye-
a 2 and 3 year plan or a 1 and 2 year plan? Oh,
Uh,
these
1
two
and
say-
2 year, just a letter stating that the plant material has survived, as was designed.
Have any other questions or comments from members of the commission?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Commissioner Rich made some excellent points there. Reminded me that we had, as a commission, talked about when we were looking at retroactive RDAs, or corrective actions on violations, that we consider imposing earlier timelines than the typical 3-year expected timeline, right? And I, for one, would be leaning towards 12 months on getting these corrective actions in place, because this is retroactive.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Thank you, Mary. Do we have any other comments from members of the commission?
Madam Chair, it's Mike.
Yes, Mike.
Yeah, I concur with Mary to shorten up that timeline to make sure that the material is removed and the new vegetation is installed. And I think a year is more than enough time to give us verification that that material has taken, and I think that's a reasonable request.
Thank you, Mike. Do we have anything from anyone else on the commission? Do we
Madam
have
Chair,
Yes.
just to clarify, I am in agreement with Commissioner Birch's 1 year and 2 year required updates on the health and wellness of the established vegetation.
So, I want to make sure I have this correct between all of the comments. So we would be looking for 12 months to remove the walkway and get the plant material and vegetation in place. And
Yes.
then a 1 and 2 year plan. Would that be 1 year after the 12 months is, the 12 months is up, and then another year after that, or 1 year from now and 1 year after that? Rich, you have your hand raised.
I did. I just had a comment on the 1 year to remove the walkway and plant the plants. I was thinking a little more on the lines of 90 days, something that can be done this summer and fall to remove the walkway and get the plant material in place.
Okay.
That's just my opinion, but
All right,
Seems
thank you,
like a
Rich.
good opinion.
Okay, so Mary
Madam
is in
Chair?
agreement with that. Okay, quick poll. If we were looking at a motion to approve this, would we be looking for 90 days or 12 months? Chris St. Germain.
90.
Okay, Mike LaRouche.
90, given, I'm thinking timeline initial as Rich has proposed, and seeing it through for the 1 year, but certainly getting the thing started this season. And so I would go with the 90 initially.
Andrea Burnett.
90.
Teddy Doucette.
90.
Okay, and I also like 90, so I'm just gonna go through this again. So if I'm looking for a motion to approve, it's going to be 90 days to remove the walkway and get vegetation in place. And then a 1 year update and a 2 year update.
And Madam Chair, that would be 1 year after the plants are planted, put in the ground, and 2 years after the plants are put in the ground.
So 1 year, 3 months after the plants are planted, and then 2 years, 3 months after the plants are planted.
Well, I would have said one month after or 1 year after they're planted, but
Okay,
it's easier that way.
okay. And then as far as the plants, are you just submitting a plant list?
So there is
Ryan?
yeah, there is a table on the site plan
Okay,
that
perfect.
that calls out the species. And I guess my only question is if, and I'm definitely not an expert in this, but if there are plants that are better suited to be planted in springtime, again, maybe they're all okay to go in this year, but if for some reason they should not be planted within the 90-day time frame, would that be an issue? It provided the applicant show movement, at least on the landscape area front.
So typically native plants are, it's better in my experience if you plant in the fall.
Okay, great.
So I would say
Oh,
for,
And Commissioner Birch would probably know.
oh, that's right. Rich, do you have any?
Yeah, I don't see anything there that would resent a fall planting.
Okay, excellent. That's all then.
Okay. All right, so at this point, I would be looking for a motion to approve with 90 days to remove the walkway and get vegetation plants in place. And then after the plants are in place, a 1 and 2 year check-in with the plants to make sure that they are established and doing well.
Madam Chair, I believe this is
Yes.
an RDA, so it would be a negative
Oh,
determination.
a negative determination.
Yep,
Yes.
with
thank you, Rich.
the following call outs, which would be the landscape to be installed within 90 days of the determination, the removal of the walkway as submitted on the plan, and then a 1 and 2 year update on the survivability of the plant material to ensure that they survive as designed.
That sounds like a motion. Is that a motion?
Yes, it was. Oh,
All
yes,
right.
I make the
Second.
motion.
All right, so Richard with the motion and Mary with the second. Roll call. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Birch,
All right,
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. All right, motion approved.
Great. Thank you very much for your time and your patience with this one. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, so up next we have a continued public hearing pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. A public hearing on a notice of intent by Tanner Cole for construction of a common driveway to service 4 single-family dwellings to be served by private wells and on-site sewage disposal systems involving the crossing of a bordering vegetated wetland in 2 locations, with all proposed dwellings and private driveways outside the 100-foot buffer zone. This is 1083 Northfield Road, NOI 25-10. Do we have the applicant or the applicant's representative on the meeting?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm standing in for Greg Roy tonight on this one. I actually do not have any project updates. I believe at the last meeting, the commission had voted to engage with a peer review consultant, and Greg had requested the opportunity to review that proposal. So I'm actually just here to ask if there's been any movement on that front.
So Perlin put in her meeting notes for tonight that she sent a proposal request to 3 firms and she's still waiting to hear back from them.
Okay.
So that is the only update that I have on this one for now.
Okay, understood. Like I said, I don't have any updates for the commission since we're waiting for that anyway. So that's all I had for this one. So I guess we'd
Okay.
be looking to continue
Okay.
to your next hearing.
So, and that would be, you'd like to continue to the 8/20 meeting?
Yeah,
Or
I
would
think
you-
that would work. And then in case we have any questions, if the peer review comes back, we at least discuss that if there is anything.
Okay. All right,
Thank
so
you.
looking for a motion to continue to August 20th, 2025.
So moved.
boom. Second,
All right, Mary with the motion and Richard with the second. Roll call, Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Birch,
aye,
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Continue to August 20th, 2025.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next, we have pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. A public hearing on a notice of intent by Sean Farrow for the construction of 2 landscape replacement walls, placement of 2 removable docks, and replenishment of beach sand within the 100-foot, 50-foot, and 30-foot buffer zone of a wetland resource area on Lake Shirley. This is 31 Round Road, and it's NOI-25-8. Do we have the applicant or their representative with us?
Good evening, Madam Chair. This is Matt Morrow representing Sean Farrow. If I could be permitted to share my screen.
All set.
Thank you. Bear with me for 1 second. I want to make sure I got the right screen here.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, so I'm assuming you guys can see the plan in front of you.
Yes.
Okay, so when I last left the hearing, the commission had a list of things they wanted to see added to the plans. In the time between hearings, the original design person that did the drawings wound up having to retire abruptly due to injuries sustained in an accident. So it took some time to find somebody who was able to take the data and redraw the plans. So Christopher Stoddard out of Royalston, who is a registered professional engineer, reevaluated all the plans and redrew and added the details the commission asked for. The only other change that has since been made on this plan that my client has requested that I add in is, I'm going to see if this switches without me having to shut off. Can you guys see the picture of Round Road here? It's a photograph.
Yes, now. Yep. I see
Okay.
it.
So he asked to have a section, there's a section of wall that would be to the right of this photograph that we've asked as part of the original NOI to also be replaced. He wants to add or basically round off that section of wall. So it stops from wall to basically these evergreen landscapes on the side slope. So he wishes to add that. And going back to the plan, that would be this section right here that I'm circling with my cursor. The commission may also recall, we had a dock here that was put in place without being previously permitted, and he's asked for another 40 by 4 foot dock to be placed here on this part of the shoreline. The commission asked that we eliminate the silt curtain detail and go with standard wattles and silt fence with the presupposition that work along that section where he was going to repair and replace what was pre-existing fieldstone would be done with the use of wattles and silt fence. So all of the sediment fence that the commission requested is placed in these details here. The commission also wanted the installation of the walls to have a profile detail to show conclusively that the wall face will go no closer to the water as is what is previously there now. And that is what Mr. Stoddard has attempted to draw here, along with a profile of how the back of the walls would be done. I believe that was it. Things I would point out, there is a section of wall that he is asking to be added that is within the 30-foot no touch. So he would request a waiver for that. It is a short section. The floodplain that you see that was done on the plan was estimated originally by Mr. Oldfield to be what was coming in July for the commission because it was the only information that they had. The original floodplain map was very indeterminate. That has since been verified by the design engineer now, and he was careful to ensure that the new wall would be drawn just outside of the floodplain so that there would be no work in this section within the floodplain and that it would come no closer to the lake face-wise. That's basically it.
Okay. Do we have any questions from members of the commission? Richard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple quick questions. Has this updated plan been submitted to the portal?
Yeah, I submitted it over a week ago.
Okay. Why is the wall not gonna stay at the 30 foot? Why are they asking for a waiver to put it inside of the no disturb zone?
Okay, so if, again, I'm gonna switch to the picture, Commissioner Birch, Rich, if you don't mind. Can you see the picture now?
Yep.
Okay, so this is what's existing here. In order to stay out of the 30-foot zone and actually do a type of blended wall like that, he'd have to basically regrade this whole area. So what he's doing is he's simply ripping the bushes out here and putting a new wall in. That's basically it. He's not like expanding or regrading or adding fill. It's just he's trading out surfaces. That's basically what's happening.
So the wall is at the toe of the slope or the top of the slope?
The wall would go from basically the toe of the slope up 3 feet. So it's not going to be greater than 4 feet. Greater than 4 feet would require a structural design. So he's going to keep the wall limited to 3 feet.
And what's the current elevation change from the bottom to the top?
3 feet.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Members of the commission? Mary,
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. How does the wall that's there now, along that elevation, die into the, grade? And where does it die into the grade compared to what's drawn there?
You're talking about this wall?
Yeah,
Okay, so that wall is essentially flush with the existing grade. So it's essentially the slope that you saw in the picture. It's the same type of slope that goes along that whole area. So he's just blending in stone where there is, I believe, there are little juniper bushes now.
well, I mean, he has some wall there now. I just am,
That's
you know,
correct. This is existing. This
Yeah.
here is existing and it's blending into the existing grade, and that's not going to change. So he's basically just changing the wall material out because the stone material there he's concerned is going to collapse because of the way it was installed. And then he's just
Where does
basically
the
adding
new
this
wall
section and running it
start?
off.
Yeah, where would
The
the
new
new
wall will
wall
start,
start?
the new wall will start exactly right here. So what happened is if you can look on the drawing, and I'll zero in a little bit just to help you out here. So what Mr. Stoddard did was he did the existing wall in a very light gray, and then he did the requested new wall in black.
Okay. Okay, understood. And so the area within the 30-foot, I think, is what you showed us in that kind of
Is
side
this.
profile. Yeah.
Yes.
The area that's between the 30 and the 50, do you have any photos of that and what the existing conditions are?
Well, I mean, it would be in the same photo. Bear with me for a moment here. It's grass. That's lawn. The trees are on, I'll hug along the sideline.
Yeah, on the
This is
top, but
grass area.
the slope area
It's
is
all lawn here.
junipers.
Yes. That's what's here, and it's in the slope. And this area right here is grass.
Okay.
I don't know if I have any other photos that could show it a little bit better. I mean, there's the wall now that
Okay.
would be replaced. So, yeah,
And
I wish I
are
had
there
better
trees in
photos.
that area at all?
There's no tree slated to be removed at all, and there's no trees like there's trees here, like 2 birches. And if I can go back up to the plan, here's the birch trees here, and you've got a triple oak here, oak here, oak here. They're rather large, and they're well away from the work zone. They're about 20, they're 15 to
Okay.
20 feet away from the work zone. So
Okay.
everything else is a grass area. Grass area. It's even labeled grass area, grass area, grass area, grass area.
Okay.
those are all the questions you had, Mary?
Yeah, well, the other question I had was about the docks and the shoreline usage. One of the things that I had noticed when I was out on the lake a few months ago was that it looks like he has a couple of boat lifts. Is that correct, Matt? And where does he install those boat lifts?
Where he installs the boat lifts, to be honest, I saw them. He had them stored along here. He didn't have anything in the water when I was out there, so I can't answer that question.
Okay, thank you. No more
There's one
questions for me.
thing further. There was a pre-existing dock here at one point. If you looked at historical aerials, he's just looking to put a dock back in that area and retro permit this dock.
Matt, Madam Chair, if I may, Matt, how long
Yes.
ago was that other dock there and how long has it been gone?
Oh, you know, I could have told you that a couple of months ago, but I haven't brushed up on that. It's probably been gone 3-4 years, maybe a little longer.
I'm actually looking at the property photos from the last sale, and I do see it there.
When was that last sale?
It was. Where's the date on this? 2019. It was sold in June of 2019.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, and the other dock looked pretty old too.
Yeah. So the wood dock at one end and then the proposed future dock both have docks in place in this picture. For my own education, Matt, what is the reason to remove the slope with the junipers and then put a wall there? Is there some benefit to that?
Well, he
Or-
wants to make sure that the area is more permanently stabilized. He's concerned that in the future that even with the vegetation that's there, it's not enough to, because it's not, I mean, juniper is a good stabilizing vegetation, but they're planted far apart and he's noticed some erosion under the mulching that he has placed there. So he's just concerned and wants something a little bit more permanent.
Thank you. And then would this all be happening during a drawdown? Or
As
is
far as
it
the
above
work,
the
as
water?
far as the work placing the dock and the work near the water, yeah, I mean, the stuff you've got here where I'm circling is actually in front of a grassed area, so there's really no contact with the water. The other work as far as restoring this wall that I had spoken about at the previous one in the placement of the dock, which is I'm assuming that would be done during drawdown because when the last exchange, I believe it was Commissioner Birch that expressed some concern about the silk curtains not being tested as much and would probably promote the work being done while drawdown was not occurring, which quite frankly, I agreed with him and had no issue. That's why I'm assuming that you would place in an order that any work done along this, that's work that's done near the water would occur during the drawdown period only.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from members of the commission? Do we have any? Oh, Rich. And
Thank
Mary.
you,
Rich
Madam Chair.
first.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The proposed future dock, is that gonna be a wheeled removable dock, a permanent dock? What kind of dock are we talking?
It's a wheeled removable dock.
Okay, and do we have dimensions on the plan for the dock?
I don't see dimensions drawn on the plan, but in the notice of intent, I labeled it as a 40 by 4.
4 foot by 40 feet, okay,
4 foot wide by 40 feet long.
okay. Yeah, because that doesn't seem to be depicted here as a 40-foot by 4-foot dock.
If you want to write it in the order that it would be a removable dock 40 by 4, it would actually make it kind of, probably in my view, a better enforceable document.
And the wood dock, is that to scale? Where the
Yes,
rest of
it
the
is.
plan is to scale?
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
So I guess I don't see any reason why we need to make the proposed dock twice the size of the current dock. That would be the problem I'd have with the future dock.
If you want to limit the size of the dock, I don't think my client's really going to have an issue with that. It just would like to have it as part of the order.
Okay. And the only other thing, Madam Chair, I myself don't see any reason that we should be putting a new wall inside the 30-foot no disturb zone at this time.
Okay, noted. So you would like to see the existing wall stay as it is, but we would leave the junipers in place and not extend that wall where it would be inside the 30-foot.
Well, there's no
Some of it
wall
is.
there now. The
Right.
wall looks like it's on the right side of the first stairway.
Yeah.
There's no wall to the left of the stairs. This is all new wall. So I have little problem with the new wall. It should not extend into the 30-foot no disturb zone. It should be outside of the 30-foot no disturb zone if they're looking to prevent erosion, though I don't see any signs of erosion at all in the pictures that they've submitted.
So
The
that area
junipers do
within
look
the-
well established in that area,
Sorry.
so.
So the area within the 30 to the 50, are you okay with that? Madam Chair?
Oh, you're asking me. You're
Well,
asking
no,
Rich.
I was asking Commissioner Birch, but I'm just going through the chair. Rich, are you okay with this section of wall, 30 to 50?
Did we lose Rich?
Yeah, I'm just thinking and looking. I'll have an answer in a minute if you want to go on to any other commissioners with questions.
But Mary, you had your hand raised?
Yeah, Madam Chair, thank you. I had just had comments. I think while Rich is thinking about his comment, I would not be in favor of adding additional wall that's not already there. From what I've seen from the photos, and it looks like it's established. I don't see any reason to add additional structure there. In the, no build zone, no structure zone, or the 30-foot zone. And I also am concerned about adding additional docks. It's a big shoreline. Maybe 2 docks makes sense. Anything that's added, I think, needs to be removable. I'd be maybe persuaded for 2 total. That's the existing one and 1 new one. That is the new one being removed in the wintertime, but not 3. To me, that I can't justify that in my head. But that's just my opinion, and I'm just 1 vote. So thank you, Madam Chair.
If I may, Madam Chair?
Yes.
I can appreciate that, and I've expressed a willingness, like Commissioner Birch said, to have a dock restricted in size. But I know this commission has allowed, in one instance, in one property, 4 docks. If I remember correctly, the gentleman's name was Benjamin on Fire Road 12. It wasn't a unanimous vote, but it has been allowed in the past. And this gentleman has Mr. Farrow has the shoreline to be able to support the docks that he has here now. But if you want to limit the size of that dock and make it so that it's removable, fine. No issues with that whatsoever. And I could, as a condition of approval, have the plan revised to have that section of new wall removed so that there's no confusion. So in other words, before an order was issued, like if you guys approved it and before an order was issued, I just simply have that section of wall removed and submit it for, to Herlin so she can verify that it was done. And it would be on the portal so you guys could look at it too.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments from members of the commission? So, as far as let me just revisit the dock size quickly. So the wood dock is to scale. And what size is that wood dock?
The wood dock you have out here?
Yeah.
This one?
Yes.
I believe that one's a 40-foot dock too. They're
Okay,
just
so
placed
that-
in different areas of the shoreline. That's why you can see. One starts here, one starts here, and the one that's proposed starts along the wall here. This one, I believe, is actually pinned in the shoreline. It's a pre-existing structure. It's been there for years. This one is actually on the top of the shoreline because it's slated to be a removable dock.
Okay. And then, did you give dimensions for the plastic dock in the middle?
Yeah, I mean, that's drawn to scale. I just don't recall the actual dimensions off the top of my head. I apologize.
Do any of the commissioners have any comments about number of docks or size of docks? And Rich, what do you think about, oh, Chris St. Germain?
Yeah, is there, I like to enforce bylaws. Is there something on the books about docks? Because I'd like to know, is it, does the association manage the number of docks, or does the commission? And what do our bylaws say on docks?
There's nothing in our bylaws that I was able to find about number of docks. Unless anybody has been able to find something,
So-
I haven't been able to.
Okay, so I agree with Mary. I think 2 is appropriate, but I don't feel comfortable enforcing anything that isn't a bylaw.
And then Lake Shirley doesn't have any rules on number of docks that I'm aware of. Mary?
Yeah, and I agree with you. I haven't found anything explicit about docks in the bylaws, and am similarly concerned about enforcing something like this. Is something I've been churning over in my head. But one thing though that I do take under consideration with the allowance of docks is when you have a dock, you absolutely channel foot traffic there, which tramples vegetation. So in my mind, that's a good enough reason to restrict the number of docks to whatever we think is best practice. Just again, as one commissioner and one opinion.
Thank you. Richard?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, there is no bylaw regulation that I'm aware of, but we do have jurisdiction over the amount of intrusion into the buffer zones and into the wetland itself. So myself, generally, I am of the opinion that 1 dock per property is enough intrusion. 2 is too much intrusion. Like Mary said, you do get destruction of the shoreline, you do get alteration of the habitat, especially with removable docks. Now you've got to figure that they're going to be stored within the 30-foot no disturb zone. So it's clearly something that we do have jurisdiction over, even though there's no written bylaw or regulation on exactly how many docks or how many square feet of docks that we do have or we do allow.
Okay, thank
And
you.
I am generally of the opinion that 1 dock is sufficient. 2 docks tends to be a little too much intrusion into the wetland, the lake, and the buffer zones.
Thank you.
Thank-
So, where there were 2 existing docks at one point, I don't know if that would, factor into this, that 2 docks may be acceptable. Does anyone have any? Or I know Mary, you were okay with 2 docks? Richard is, Mary, yes.
That's right. I and I had the chance while others were talking to also look at the history in Google Satellite, and there's been a history of 2 docks there. So, that seems to be reasonably pre-existing, and I can wrap my head around that. I can't for 3. So for me, I would say figure out which of the 2 docks they want to keep. But I would not be voting in favor of a total of 3 along the shoreline.
Thank you, Mary. Does anyone else have any opinions on number of docks? Teddy?
I just want to echo Mary's opinion on that. I would be okay with 2 docks.
3 is pushing it though.
Not a third.
Okay, thank you. And I agree with that too. I think that where there was 2 existing docks, you know, I can see that, but 3 is a lot. And okay, so anybody else want to add to that?
Madam Chair,
Yes. Mike.
I concur with the 2 docks, given that the one in the middle was not permitted to begin with, correct? Is that correct?
That would be a totally new dock because the proposed future dock did have one in place at one point, and then the wood dock is still existing. So it would be
Okay.
that middle dock that would be a new proposal.
Okay. Yeah, I think 2's plenty. I think we're docked out on this one.
Thank you, Mike.
All right.
Okay. Is there anything else that any members of the commission would like to share or comment on? Okay, so it looks like what we're thinking is, it seems like we have a consensus on if we were to move forward. 2 docks, figure out, does anyone have any preference of placement of the docks? Would they like to see them where they have been historically, or would we be okay with them removing the proposed future dock and having that to where the removable plastic dock is, or would we prefer it stays where the previous dock was? Does anyone, Mary?
I don't have a preference. I
Okay.
think I would be happy with the applicant determining, you know, if the 2 that they currently have are, you know, if that's the best they can do, or if they want to, you know, move the plastic dock over to where the proposed future site, you know, which had been the historical site. It's the same to me.
Okay, and Chris?
Yeah, just echoing Mary's, I agree, same thing.
Okay, and then the other thing that we want to eliminate is that portion of retaining wall that would be in the 30-foot.
Okay, so if I may ask if the commission could move forward with the condition that you don't actually give me the order until such time as I submit the revised plan with this dock eliminated and this proposed section of new wall eliminated.
As one commissioner, I would be okay with that. What are other commissioners thinking on that? Mary?
I would like to see it before I vote on it.
Okay. Anyone else?
Madam Chair, I would
Yes.
also like it changed before we vote on it.
All right, so any other comments on that? So I think I'd be looking for a motion to continue. And we would want to see a new plan with the retaining wall removed from where it is inside the 30-foot buffer zone, and then where the placement of the 2 docks that would be allowed would be. Am I missing anything?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if I might ask, just for clarity, right, and out of respect for the applicant, is the are we expecting them to remove all of the new proposed retaining wall, or only the section that's you know, inside the 30?
My understanding was the section that's within the 30, but maybe I misheard. Rich, what were you thinking? Or Mary, or anybody?
I mean, I'm only one vote, right? And we have a lot of respect for my fellow commissioners who bring up a lot of points that you know, maybe I don't think about, but I had verbalized not wanting to see any new retaining wall, either in the 50 or the 30, but replacement, right? As articulated for the existing wall, I was completely fine with. But I don't know that other commissioners, I know Rich was thinking about it, but I don't know how the other commissioners feel about that. I might be being overly conservative at this point.
Okay, so it sounds like you'd be looking for No new wall at all, so the wall to the left to be removed from the plan, left of the stairs to be removed from the plan. And still okay with the replacement of the wall to the right of the stairs. And then Richard, what were you thinking? No wall to the left of the stairs, no new wall within the 50 foot
Yeah,
or the 30 foot?
I would agree with Mary. No wall within the 30-foot, no structure, no build zone.
Okay. And, okay, so the 30 and the 50, yep.
Yep.
Okay, and then does anyone else have any? Teddy,
I agree with my previous commissioners. No wall to the left, but to the right is fine.
great, thank you. All right, so then motion, I would be looking for a motion to continue with Matt to come back with plans, updated with no new, with the wall to the left of the stairs that is within the 30 and 50 foot buffer removed, and then placement of 2 docks on the plan. Does that sound right?
Moved.
All right.
Second.
Motion from Rich and second from Mary. Roll call. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Richard Birsch,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Andrea Burnap,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
and I for myself. So continued to Matt.
The 20th?
8:20 work for you?
Yes,
Yes.
it'll be fine.
Okay, sorry.
I,
Should have
it
asked you that
shouldn't be a
before.
problem having this and this removed. The engineer should be able to do that pretty quickly.
Okay, so yeah, so continue to August 20th, 2025.
All right,
And we
that
will
works.
See you then. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks, you as well.
You too. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Hey, anytime. Take care, guys.
Okay. Moving on to a continued public hearing for 390 Howard Street, pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. We have a public hearing on an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation by Kevin O'Brien at 390 Howard Street. Do we have the applicant or an engineer on the meeting?
Yep, it's Chuck Karen. I'm here. I believe Kevin is on as well.
Okay. Let me,
Yeah,
I don't know if you have anything to share. I'm just gonna give you that ability in case you do.
well, I'll summarize quickly. At the last hearing, you had concerns about one potential wetland area on I think it was on sheet 8 of the plan. And our instructions were to go out there, walk it with Harlan, check that area, which we did. I conducted a site walk with Harlan. We looked at that area, found that the area that you were concerned about. And basically, I see what you're looking at there, but it's clearly non-jurisdictional. There's a small, faint, intermittent, ephemeral channel that just kind of originates on the rocky slope there. There's no wetlands vegetation of any significance along it. There's no hydric soils. And the upgrading of it is clearly wetlands. It's just kind of kind of looks to me like the type of area where the water gets hung up during snow melt sometimes more than anything. Harlan told me she agreed that it wasn't, jurisdictional area, and she was going to put together a quick summary of that for you. And I think that was the only outstanding issue.
Yeah, and Harlan did give us a comment. It says the site walk was conducted with Chuck Karen, where we analyzed the area, soil, and vegetation. A determination was made that no additional flags were required, and she sent us an email after the walk, so saying the same.
Okay.
So, if you have, do you have anything to add to that, or?
No, I don't. Like I said, I think that was the only thing we had left open, we had, the survey plan that we submitted back in April and discussed then, and we had Art Allen's report confirming that the delineation is correct.
Mary, you have your hand up.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Harlan did send a note and she addressed all of my concerns. So I appreciate you guys getting out there quickly and addressing my concerns. And I will note, Madam Commissioner, it's maybe not as much relevant for this hearing, but when we have been out there, there are wetland delineation flags that are blue wetland delineation flags, which I believe is industry best practice. And even though those wetland flags have been out there for a long time, Chuck, when was that those areas delineated? Sort of, kind of.
Well, the new flags I put up to address the areas that I wanted to add to the original delineation went up basically August and September last year. So they've been about a year.
Okay.
The other flags from the old delineation that had been survey located back in that Art did his initial review of, I believe those went in earlier
Yeah,
in
a long time ago.
2024.
Right. The only thing I wanted to point out for the commissioners is even though the newer flags that have been up for a year have been out in the elements and they're very exposed, is that we've been able to differentiate the numbers, the flag numbers on there. And we had an earlier hearing tonight where supposedly they were put up in April and all of the numbers have washed off of them. So
Yeah, I believe that I had to switch. I used the Arctic flagging, which is heavier. And even with that, until a couple of years ago, I was using what I thought were the best permanent markers. I think the quality of them had declined dramatically. And I'd go back 3 or 4 months later and could barely read a number
no
on the
kidding.
flags. I've
Yeah,
switched to
so you run
using
into it.
I've switched to using the paint markers.
Ah, okay.
And I've been using those for about 3 years now, and I found some from 3 years ago that looked like you did them yesterday. So,
Well, the ones that I saw out there when I was looking, it was really clear what the numbers were, and we've been having some problems with some other delineation firms. You go out there and you don't know, are you at flag 1 or flag 10? Or even is this supposed to be a wetland delineation flag? I don't know. But out there on the O'Brien property right now, Charles, your fine work. It was very easy to see what you thought was a wetland, and the flags were as we expected, and the numbers were clear. So thank you for that.
you're welcome.
Okay, so based on Harlan's note and seems like everything we've requested has been performed. I think I'd be looking for a motion to you approve an ANRAD, right?
Yes.
Is that motion to approve?
I would make a motion to approve the ANRAD delineation as presented.
Do I have a
Second.
second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, so it's Mary with the motion and Richard with the second. Roll
Yes.
call. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Bursch,
Aye.
Andrea Burnout,
Aye.
Patty Doucette.
I abstain.
Oh, right. And I for myself. So, ANRAD is approved. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you very much. Appreciate your help and patience with this.
Thanks. Have a great night.
Yep, you too. Good night.
Okay, so up next we have administrative determinations, but I see Ryan, you're still on the meeting. Is that for the administrative determination, or is there something else that you're on for? Maybe he's on by accident. All right, was worried maybe something was missing. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
sorry, my name's Nancy Milady. I think Ryan was staying on for our order of conditions, which is the 406 Sunset.
oh, okay.
That's all. It's just, I think, a minor thing just to, I believe it gets approved, but I think that's why he's on.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, so, we have, up next, we have, administrative determination for 141 Hemlock Drive. And, Herlin has notes for this, so let me just pull them up. And then I will share my screen. Okay. I'm going to. I'm getting some feedback from somebody, but it looks like everybody is muted. So I'm not sure where that's coming from. Oh, it stopped. Okay. Okay, so this is 141 Hemlock Drive, which is for the removal of one dead tree, 2 stems, which imposes an immediate hazard to our and our neighbor's property. Removal of dead tree has already been approved by Hickory Hills Lake Commission. So that's the narrative on the agenda. So these are Herlin's inspection notes. Multiple trees, at least 3, appear to be fully dead with no foliage. Bark exfoliation and decay were observed on several trunks. Some of the trees lean toward the home and neighboring properties. Given the location within jurisdictional buffer zone and the confirmed hazardous conditions of the trees, removal is reasonable. The removal will be conducted using low impact, minimally invasive methods. Equipment access and stump grinding, if any, be done in a way that avoids soil disturbance or erosion into the pond. No additional vegetation be removed. And replanting with native vegetation is encouraged, but not required due to the limited access area and slope conditions. And then here are some pictures that she took. So it looks like it is these right here. I would assume these 3. And then similar picture. So I'm clicking the same one over and over. Followed up 2. This is the top. And okay, so do we have any questions from members of the commission based on Herlin's notes? Mary?
I'm pretty familiar with that property. There had been some dialogue, I don't know, last year maybe, around tree removal there. And I think it's reasonable to remove those dead trees, but I would prefer to see some replacement done, particularly because of the history of that property, where a lot of trees within the 50 and 30 had been removed. A lot of vegetation has been removed from that area.
Okay. So
Can I don't know if you can hear me. I just logged in and I'm the owner of 141 Hemlock Drive.
okay.
You can hear me
Yes.
okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
so-
should have asked if you were here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And I obviously recognize all the pictures. Yeah, it's actually one tree. It's 2 stems. It's a pretty tall tree, very few branches on it. And it is clearly a dead tree, and it's close to our property and our neighbor's property. Just a remark on replanting some trees. Since the last time, I know we had some discussions in the past. We got permission to put the pathway down to the lake. By doing that, by the way, none of the trees were removed, but the builders about 3 years ago, they removed quite a few trees, but I don't know, you cannot really see it on the picture itself, but I have already replanted about 20 northern pine trees all around that area close to the water. And it says in Herlin's site visit report that I have very little area to put new trees, but I'm still planning to put maybe 3 or 4 northern pine trees in the area where we now have the 2 trees that hopefully we can take down because they're dead. So yes, I am planning to put more trees. I love trees. I wasn't happy with the property either, so I started to plant already proactively. And if I got some more space, I will put more trees up.
So I do remember your property and I remember all the saplings that you had. How are those doing? Are those doing well?
Yeah, they're doing well. Actually, I counted them yesterday. There's 22 that I put up in various places. And I put up a few more, a few died, but I still have 22 going.
Okay. Mike, I see you have your hand raised.
Yes, Madam Chair, I was just wondering if the owner is going to relocate the birdhouse.
Oh yeah, I will.
Three.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
But there's bluebirds in it right now, so I'm not going to do it yet.
Okay, I appreciate your understanding and your care for the birds.
No, I love birds too, so I'm definitely going to put it somewhere else and maybe add a few more.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Thank you, Mike.
Welcome.
And Mary, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, with the owners, you know, kind of enthusiastic attestation that he's already gone in and planted a lot more trees. And Jenny, I do recall after you said that we had seen saplings there getting ready to be installed, I withdraw my concern about replacement plantings.
Okay, thank you. All right, do we have any other members of the commission who have any comments or questions for the applicant? Okay, it does not seem like it. Do we have any members of the public who have any questions? All right, so I think I'd be looking for a motion to we approve an administrative determination.
Yes.
Okay, motion to approve the removal of, it says 1 dead tree, 2 stems, but it's 2 different trees.
No, it's actually one trunk.
Okay, that's all one big trunk there?
One big trunk, yeah, that goes down.
Oh, okay. So 1 dead tree with 2 stems at 141 Hemlock Drive.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mike and second by Chris. Roll
Madam
call.
Chair, before
Yes.
we vote, I just wanted to say out loud the expectation, and you know, we would have to go back to the original motion or a second, that the roots stay in the in the ground. It
Okay,
can
yeah,
be,
so-
you know, ground flush, but with the roots staying in the ground.
Yeah, we're not gonna grind the trunk because I need it because it's a pretty steep slope there, and I don't want it to create a lot of erosion. But I'm gonna leave the trunk in.
And then did you say you're gonna grind it or not grind it?
No, not grind it.
Not grinding. Okay. Okay, so so now I'd be looking for a motion to approve the removal of 1 dead tree with 2 stems, with the roots to stay in place, with the stump to stay in place at 141 Hemlock Drive.
So moved.
Second.
Mike with the motion, Chris with the second. Roll call, Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Bursch,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and Teddy Doucette.
Aye.
And I for myself. So approved.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else I need to do, or this is it, right?
this is it.
Okay. Yeah, I know what to do and what not to do, and I'll put a few more trees in once it's all done.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay,
Awesome.
thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Thanks.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Okay, so, we don't have any extension request permits, so we'll move on to certificates of compliance. And then, Herlin had sent notes out for the meeting, so we have some notes on these that I will read if, you haven't seen them yet. So, we'll start out with 12 Horizon Island Road. And Herlin, that based on the as-built submission, engineer certification and field conditions, I recommend that the commission issue a full certificate of compliance. So based on those notes, I would be looking for a motion to approve the certificate of compliance at 12 Horizon Island Road. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion from Mary and second from Mike. Roll call, Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Bursch.
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay, next we have 406 Sunset Lane. And I know we have the applicant on the line for this. We have notes from Herlin that say no deviations or unpermitted work identified based on the as-built plan, engineer certification, and site conditions. It is recommended that the commission issue a full certificate of compliance. Nancy, did you want to add anything to that, or do you want to just let us vote?
Nope, you can vote, please. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve a certificate of compliance at 406 Sunset Lane. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion from Mary, second from Mike. Roll call, Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Bursch,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
I for myself. All right, certificate of compliance approved. Up next, we have 46 Arbor Street. And the notes for this are all disturbed areas have been loamed, seeded, or landscaped based on the as-built plan, engineer certification, and site conditions. It is recommended that the commission issue a full certificate of compliance. Do we have any questions or members? Do we have anyone from this on? Okay.
Motion
based
to
on-
approve.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, motion from Mary, second from Chris. Roll call. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Bursch,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay, so up next we have 147 Holman Street. We have notes from Herlin. While the professional certification letter affirms substantial compliance, issuance of a full certificate of compliance is not recommended until an as-built plan is submitted for commission review. Alternatively, the commission may consider issuing a partial certificate of compliance contingent on receipt and approval of an as-built plan or continuing this matter until 8/2025 so the applicant can obtain the required plans.
If I may, Ally
Yes.
from Benjamin Builders, I did submit the as-built today. We got an email late yesterday and I did submit them today.
Oh, okay, let me pull this up.
Sorry.
And is it on OpenGov?
Yes, yep.
Okay, perfect.
It's
Let me
like both of the lots are in one, but I submitted it to both.
Okay, so you put it on both individually?
Yes,
So we
yep,
have 159 and 147.
correct.
Um, Not seeing it, not seeing anything new uploaded. Oh, here we go. Additional. Okay, it's just not under the as-built. plot plan section.
Could you share the plans,
Yep,
Jenny,
I'm
just so,
going to.
thank you.
There we go. So. This is from November of 2023.
Okay, thank you. I just, yeah, the, tax records don't show those, addresses yet.
Yeah, the plan is from earlier because we had to do the rain gardens as well. So we had originally applied for like a partial, and then unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I had a baby. So then the follow-up of applying for the full certificate of compliance unfortunately got a bit delayed because I was on maternity leave and then it kind of got forgotten about, unfortunately.
And this is for. Okay, so this is.
It's the same plan.
Same lot,
The top
okay.
one is lot 3
Yes.
and the bottom plan is lot 4.
Okay, yeah,
And so lot 4 is 159, no, sorry. Lot 3 is 147 and lot 4 is 159.
thank you. Okay, do we have, does anyone have any questions or concerns, now that we have the as-built? I think I'd be looking for a motion to approve the certificate of compliance.
So
At
moved.
one, thank you. Have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion from Mike, second from Chris. Roll call on issuing a certificate of compliance to 147 Holman Street. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Birsch,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and Patty Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself. And then we had the same notes for 159 Holman Street, which is that second lot that we just looked at in the plans. So that is also up for a certificate of compliance. So based on everything we just saw in the last one, I would be looking for a motion to approve a certificate of compliance at 159 Holman Street, lot 4.
So moved. Mike?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mike with the motion, Chris with the second. Roll call, Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Birsch,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
Patty Doucette,
Aye.
I for myself. Okay, approved. All right, so both of them have been approved.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, have a great night.
You too.
Okay. So up next, for enforcement for violations, enforcement actions and hearings, Berlin did send letters to all of the active violations that we have. She has not heard back from anybody as of yesterday. So updates maybe to come at the 8:20 meeting. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay. On to conservation updates. We have the master plan steering committee. I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with that, but they are looking for a member of the commission to join as the representative to the master plan steering committee. Let me just pull up the email that I was. So the master plan steering committee has a membership spot for the conservation commission and was looking for a representative to join our meetings. Many of the recommendations that could go into the master plan are Concom related. We meet 2 times per month, which is the 2nd and 4th Wednesday at 6 p.m. through the rest of the year. If you could let me know if someone on your commission is available to participate, that would be great, and I can start including them. So is anyone interested in that? It is, I think the master plan steering committee is very important for the town and, but I do know that it's a big commitment, especially, I mean, every Wednesday is tied up by something. Teddy?
What is there like? What I know nothing of this committee. Could you just explain what their
So
jurisdiction is?
I'm gonna, as a super lay person, the master plan steering committee is actually setting up a master plan for the town to kind of drive how we try to draw business. And if anyone can say this better than me, please stop me and do it better. But it's kind of like almost like an economic plan, like the way that we want the town to go. Do we want to try to attract more businesses? Do we want to try to attract more apartment buildings? Things
Oh,
like that.
I would be very interested in this.
Okay, awesome. All right, I'd love to hear that. So, and you'd be okay with the second and fourth Friday and Wednesday, days of the week? And that's okay? You could do that'd be every Wednesday being taken?
Yes. I what are the hours? Is it 7 to 10?
No,
Same.
it's probably a lot less than this. It's at 6. I can't, let me look at a previous meeting and see how long it went for. I think, the commission skews longer than most of the other meetings in town, is my understanding. And from watching meetings, that has been, what I've seen, sometimes select board goes long, but let me just try to find one from. And if anyone knows off the,
Was anyone else interested in this?
Madam Chair, while you're looking, I just want to express appreciation for Teddy and volunteering for that. I do think it's very important. I am very interested in it, but I have absolutely no time to devote to it. So thank you, Teddy, for raising your hand and being there to represent us.
yeah, same, honestly, if I had the time, I would totally do it because I think it's really important.
Yeah, well, that sounds like right up my alley because I'm just so into conservation and like future oriented, like
Oh,
community
yeah.
work.
It seemed aligned with what you had said to the select board when you were there and they appointed you as a conservation commissioner.
Thank you,
Let's see.
Mary. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I was hoping that you would volunteer, to be honest. It does look like their last meeting was 3 hours. It started at 6 and it ended at around 8:55.
And that's fine. I
Um,
was just curious. And
There's-
I do have a question though. What is the like, say I am on vacation for a week and not able to attend a meeting, what is the protocol to uh like reconcile
You're on,
that?
you're on vacation, you don't attend the meeting. I've been on vacation, not attending meetings. I've been on vacation, I don't do the site walks if I, but it is what it is. Sometimes you go on vacation. People go on vacation and you don't have to attend the meetings.
Madam
I know.
Chair, if I might recommend, I think it's the same as here. Just send an email to the chair, right? And then they will have to do meeting minutes anyway, and record. I think all of the committees record their meetings, so you have lots of opportunity to catch up.
Okay, but there's like not, I realize this is a volunteer position, but I just didn't know if there was some sort of like work that I have to do afterwards to make up for the time I've missed.
Oh, no. No, if you just want to make sure you probably want to catch up and see what you missed with the meeting minutes. And you could either read those when they come out, or you could watch the meeting. Like if I miss a meeting, I usually just watch it on Lunenburg Access or listen to it when I have a chance I don't even watch, I just listen.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with some of them on YouTube, which is nice.
Yeah, so, and you definitely, it's a volunteer position, so sometimes you go on vacation, sometimes you get sick. And if you have to miss a meeting, you have to miss a meeting, that's life.
I also just wanted to bring up that I haven't gotten any of the MACC login stuff
Oh,
yet, so I haven't been able to start any trainings.
oh, okay,
I did
I,
let Herlin know, and she said that she just hasn't heard back from them yet. I gave her all my contact information to get started.
So that's funny because I sent them an email about myself because I wanted to, this is actually the next thing that we were going to talk about. Is there's an email that came out from MACC that they're doing their fundamentals frenzy, which is they're going to have 101, 102, 103, like their basics classes. And I had sent an email asking about getting in for the, because you have to, if you've already taken it and you want to take it again, it's only $15, but you have to reach out to them and say, hey, I've already taken this. Can you put me in for this at the $15 rate? And I haven't heard back, and it's been about a week. And then I was actually planning on bringing it up tonight to let everybody know that the fundamentals frenzy is happening, and I was gonna say what the dates are. So I haven't heard back from them either, which is unusual. So I'll check in with Harlan tomorrow, and then I'll send a message again to Mac. Andrea, have you heard anything from them yet?
No, I haven't heard anything, and they have all my information.
Okay, yeah, I'll check in with them again tomorrow because I wanted to sign up for some of those classes at the $15 rate anyway. So I'll check in with them. And then let me just see what the classes are that are coming out, because I'm hoping that some people might want to sign up. And these are, oh, they send them to my personal.
Madam Chair, I
Yeah.
just forwarded the MACC upcoming events to both Teddy and Andrea as well.
Perfect, thank
Much
you.
appreciated.
And then, did everybody else get that email from them? That tell the dates of some of the new fundamentals classes?
Yes.
Okay, so it looks like September 23rd is 101, which is overview of conservation commissions. October 1st, and this October 1st is actually the night of our meeting. That's Unit 104, wetland functions and values. But when I first started, Mary told me I had to miss a meeting to do some training, and she said that makes more sense. So if somebody wants to take that class and they're new and that's something they're interested in, then getting trained up is definitely important. And then, yeah, so there's just you'll see it in the email. But if anyone didn't get that, let me know and I'll forward it to them, because this is what gets you, these are the classes that will help get you, I want to say, you get your fundamental certificate, which just means that you've taken the core classes and then a couple of elective classes through MACC. And then once you take them, I'd recommend, doing some more meetings, doing the convention, and then also taking them again, because I think that the more you do this and the more you go out, it starts to stick with you more, and then the classes make more sense. And then they also have the lunch and learns, which are really good. So yeah, so I'll check in with them on that. So
Thank you.
all right, I will have someone from the master planning steering committee reach out to you, Teddy, and then you could ask them questions too. Make sure you're definitely on board. And then hopefully you'll be our representative to them.
Alrighty.
That sound good?
Yes, very good.
All right, thank you so much for stepping up.
And I do want to say I really appreciate you all like setting a good example of like how to ask questions when we're having our meetings, because you make a lot of salient points that I would not think of, and that I think it was the first vote we did. I was pretty torn between some of the opinions.
Same. Yeah, it's that was a hard one. And but also, it's good. It's not good that sometimes we disagree too. And
That's
it's
our
nice to hear
strength.
everybody's perspective, and and then go with what you think is
That was the
correct choice.
closest vote I've seen since I've been on, so.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was a tough one. And I appreciate Mary bringing up later in the meeting on that the flags at 390 were good. I was actually surprised by the engineer's response on that. But I was actually thinking that, I'm like, man, some of those flags have been there for so long, and I can read them, and I wasn't there for the other one, but okay. So anyway, all right, so that is the master plan steering committee. Old business. Budget, I have no updates on the budget. We have no encouragement issues. Open space and land use. Do we have any grants updates?
No grant updates, Madam Chair. I'm waiting on well, I guess slight update. So no project work has been done. I'm waiting on I've submitted everything for reimbursement of the Conservation Commission grant of award for 2023, which was the park and area improvements. And we had 2 projects that have, been designed, been approved. And I submitted those. I've followed up a couple of times. The grant administrators are very upfront about June and July. They are worried about state budgets. They're not talking to anybody. There's no incoming documentation getting done. But I had at least hoped the grant administrator would acknowledge the receipt of the last, canceled checks for the last things. So I've been chasing her up about that. I'm hoping now that we've, moved into August, I'll get some movement there, but I'll keep chasing her every week. And then with regard to the last part of that grant was doing planning work in the Cowdrey area. Yeah, and I think what we need to do, what Bob was telling me, Bob's been, I've been partnered with Bob Pease, former commissioner, who's been doing a lot of the grunt work with the engineers. I think the next step is to get, me and any of the other commissioners that want to go down there and look at it, and Bob and the engineering firm to look at that area and see, how we want to approach the request. Because it's a lot of, there's a pre-existing road there, and we want to raise it so that we can get access, handicapped access. There's a wonderful handicap viewing, wildlife viewing platform that nobody can access right now because of the deteriorating condition of the cart path. So that was our hope, was to get that improved. We may have to consider, maybe coming in from the other side. I don't know, but that's something that's brewing. So look for invites, and certainly, if anybody, particularly our newer members or anybody that hasn't been down there is interested in that area, let me know. I'd be happy to take you down there and kind of go over the hopes and dreams. And then the other slight update is that I am hoping that we can submit another grant in January to actually implement one of the approved parking areas, either Reno or Table Rock. And again, if we submit the grant request, then whatever is the cost of the project, the grant would pay 80%. We would have to come up with 20% of the funding. The town would have to come up with 20% of the funding. We may have timber rights funds available. We have another grant potentially available. I forget the gentleman's name, but we have another grant available, and then there are, there is a grant commission here in town that we could potentially request funding from for that 20% as well. Additionally, we can, volunteer hours count significantly as in-kind matching. So that's another opportunity to fund that 20% of the work that would need to be done there. So anyway, so that's a goal. Towards that goal, Bob has sent a request to the town manager and the HR director who does some management of contract work to ask what exactly we would need to do in order to, in order to get the RFQs raised, consistent with town process, right? So that even though we wouldn't be doing the work in January, we would have to have quotes from, following the appropriate process. We would have to submit those quotes actually and build our budget off of those quotes in the grant application. So we would have to have that done by the end of January. So anyway, he's trying to get, some transparency in what that process is so that we're hitting all the right notes in terms of diligence. So that's what's going on with grants. And then conservation land improvement, I think, Jenny, we got a note from Josie Gilchrist, I think is her last name, offering to coordinate some United Way or submit a United Way project for their volunteer month, or Dave Caring, potentially to do, you know, some trail work and or repair work down in the Cowdrey, and that sounds really exciting too.
Yes, I got an email from her and I'm going to respond to her tomorrow morning. And have on, and I will CC you and Bob on that email. But yeah, that's super exciting. That it sounds like a great idea. I didn't even know that existed. So I'm very happy that she reached out to us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Getting that. Yeah.
And then as a final note, we've had 2 volunteers actually reach in through our QR code and offer to help out with trail work.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And is that trail work at, is it a specific
These
place
2
or?
volunteers, I think, came in through the Cowdrey QR codes and offered to do some work in the Cowdrey.
Oh, awesome. Did that just come in like today or yesterday?
No.
After, okay.
Yeah, one of the gentlemen reached out to me and alerted me of a down tree between the Cowdrey and the small town forest. So I'll be taking care of that when I can.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so is that all of our updates on grants and improvement?
Yeah.
It is for me, Chris.
Yeah, open space. We have our August meeting a week from today.
Okay, thank you. And Mary, I just want to say thank you again for everything that you do as far as the grants and the trails, and you're just amazing.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for all of that. Hollis Road, Mike, do you have any updates on?
The only thing I had is we had an incident with the riding lawnmower. I got an email saying that the lawnmower was left out in the field. I'm assuming it was out back of the Hollis Road residence. So it was brought into the shed, but I was told that it wasn't really working properly, and I should check it out. And come to find out, there was a piece of metal fencing that was wrapped around one of the lawnmower blades. So I was able to cut out the fencing that was around the blade, and it looks like it's back in service. But I'm a little disconcerted that it was just left outside with nobody making any mention that there's an issue until one of the volunteers found it out there. So, but all is good. It seems as if it's working fine now, but I just wanted to make sure I reported that to everybody.
Okay, and if something happens to the lawnmower, would they typically reach out to you and know that that would be the person they would reach out to, or?
They usually do. It's usually not left abandoned without, I think that's the part that's a little disconcerting. Fortunately, we have, volunteers who are saying, hey, where's the lawnmower? Oh, there it is. And so, I mean, could have been much worse, but, it's nice to get the heads up that something happened and report it before someone else has to find it. So that's my point.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Mary, you have your hand up?
Yeah, Mike does an awesome job coordinating, the concerns of the tenant and the pollinator habitat, right, with the Conservation Commission. And I just have to say, I'm really disappointed that that the lawnmower was left out and that it was damaged and you weren't notified, and, you know, you worked really hard to make certain that, you know, we got, you lobbied really hard to make certain that we got funded for a brand new lawnmower last year, Mike, just so you wouldn't have to, you know, put up with having to be out there every other week repairing something. And it's just so disappointing that, you know, that's just kind of treated so carelessly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That is, yeah. Well, thank you for everything you're doing, Mike. And thank you for fixing that.
Okay, we'll have to do it.
And then there's nothing that we could really do to prevent that from happening. You know, both sides need access to the lawnmower. That's just can we say something to no, you don't want to like single anybody out, but say, hey, if there's a problem, let me know. Or are you definitely, I feel like I don't want to say that they should definitely reach out to you. Are you the person that they normally like that you want to be the person they reach
Yeah,
out
I
to?
usually have been the person in the past that, you know, got the call or got a text or whatever, but and I haven't done anything. I just felt I just needed to fix it and, you know, would deal with the ramifications of the no notice of something was awry. But
Thank you for fixing it. We really appreciate it. Up next, we have committee reports. Chris gave us his for open space. Stormwater, we have a lot happening. We're moving to 2 nights per month now as we get closer to town meeting, not the fall town meeting, the spring town meeting. But you know, like I said before, it's just we're trying to implement a stormwater utility, and we are, you know, becoming more active in that and getting closer to figuring out what that utility cost would be and how we're going to present it to the town. Bill Bernard's already presented it a little bit, but you know, there's some people there's some pros, there's some cons. So we're working on that, meeting 2 times a month now. So I'll be meeting with them tomorrow. And then do we have any communications? Any updates on anything else that we haven't covered from any members of the commission? All right. Our next meeting is scheduled for August 20th, 2025 on Zoom. And I think
I do have a question for the commission.
yes.
Earlier in the meeting, we talked about the property that we worked with, where they had to remove their patio and left only the retaining wall. And we said 2 things. They had to do it within 90 days. And the second thing was they'd have to follow up with a 1 or 2 year report. How do we enforce that report? Do we have to remember to, like, how does that 1 year, 2 year thing, how do we catch that? Does something come up in our calendars or something? Like,
that's a great question, Chris.
Yeah. I don't know if OpenGov, I wonder if we could build that into certain workflows in OpenGov because I didn't really think about that where it's an
With
RDA.
an NOI, you know,
No.
you just wouldn't, you know, give them a certificate of compliance, but with an RDA, it's kind of
Really
open-ended.
no.
Yeah.
So that is a question that I will ask Herlin. And you know, we do need some sort of like Mary had suggested once that we have things come up on certain dates so that we just know that we have this list of things. If I'm remembering this correctly, Mary, that we have this list of things to do like on October 1st. And then there's just a list rather than having everything be on a specific date.
Yeah, I think that was more managing violations. But for something where we've actually deliberated and issued a decision, I would, it seems like OpenGov, right? It's a workflow management tool. There's got to be a way to set reminders in there, right?
Yeah, and
reminders and alerts.
I can go in there and, add box and things like that, but I haven't tried to add anything else to a workflow. So,
Ryan may know, and I think our good friend Logan now works for OpenGov, right?
that's true. He does. Yeah, yeah, I'll check in with, I'll see if I can add it first. I'm just curious if
Mhm.
I have that capability, but, I know depending on the workflow, I have different capabilities. Like I didn't have any capabilities to do anything on the CAOC at 260 Falula, so I have to ask to have that workflow updated so that I can update it. But yeah, let me see what I can figure out and see if we can get some reminders set up for things like this. Because we definitely want to be able to check up on this.
The other thing I wonder about too, Jenny and Chris, I mean, now that we're talking about this, like what we've experienced over the last couple of years is a high rate of turnover in the office. And, we all hope that that will be remedied. But there still will be turnover. How does OpenGov handle that gracefully? How do they do, resource assignment? If you set a reminder, who would get it if the person that's in the office now is not there in 2 years when the reminder comes up?
That's a good question. So, in my day job, we usually have reminders set to like the department, not the specific person. I actually did find in OpenGov in the RDA workflow, I can create an inspection step and create it for compliance. As far as assignees go, there's nothing like, I don't have LCC. Because ideally we could just send it to like the LCC at Lindenberg mailbox and whoever is monitoring that would see it come up.
Yeah.
But I don't see that set up here. Looks like you have to choose an individual person. So that is a good question. And I'm wondering if we could have the LCC mailbox set up as a resource in there for reminders to go to, or something similar to that.
Yeah, something more agnostic than an individual who may or may not, because that email's not good anymore, then it just like bounces and goes into the ether.
Right. And that's what happens with, with our person who just left. I sent an email by accident and it immediately bounced back. So that mailbox is gone. So it's not gonna go anywhere. They're not being forwarded or monitored. So that's a really good question. Okay. Any other questions? I think I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
It is 9:55 p.m. and I make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion from Mary, second from Chris. Roll call. Mary Wilson,
Aye.
Chris St. Germain,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Richard Birsch,
Aye.
Andrea Burnap,
Aye.
Hetty Doucette,
Aye.
and I for myself, adjourning at 9:56 p.m. on August 6th, 2025.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Night.